On this episode of Lifeguard, the Huntington Beach Lifeguards have their hands full with an unusual type of rescue.
What is it?
He's got one here in his mouth.
It's okay, little guy, it's okay.
Oh my gosh.
While lifeguards in Long Beach catch a suspiciously aggressive boater.
Follow us. We will. You can meet her down. Okay. Do me a favor. Meet me at that dock. Meet me at that dock right over there.
You know, these are my neighbors.
I got that.
Right?
I got that.
You're embarrassing the out of me.
Obviously, you're agitated.
Give me a ticket or arrest me or I'm done.
How much alcohol have you had today?
And in San Diego, busy weekend crowds pack Mission Beach. But lifeguards aren't the only ones keeping an eye on the water.
Dispatch, go ahead. We have a confirmed sighting of large shark off Mission Beach.
Shark in the water, shark in the water. When I saw the shark, I was 30 yards from the dorsal fin, which appeared to me to be a white shark. They usually don't come in shore unless they're hungry.
I kid you not, man. That's exactly what it was like.
The lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline. And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, a lot of us are amateur meteorologists.
Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer.
I like those exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen.
Dispatch, a person injured on a vessel.
They are there to save you. They are there to lifeguard. San Diego has a weather pattern unlike anywhere else in America. With a Mediterranean climate to the north and a semi-arid one to the south, the city enjoys the best of both worlds.
The northeastern Pacific High is what makes California have nice weather. These high pressures are like a big rock. It essentially keeps out storms.
It's these conditions that make this city's beaches a destination spot for tourists worldwide. Over 22 million visitors a year flock to San Diego, contributing to its $15 billion tourist industry. Here, everyone is counting on the lifeguards to keep the beaches safe and keep them coming back year after year.
This year, the water's been warm up until this week, so we've had a lot of rescues, and they've all been mostly rip current related.
Today, veteran lifeguard Alan Cracklow will be on patrol in Mission Beach, providing backup for any incoming radio call.
Last week at La Jolla Shores, we had a 30-person mass rescue. 100 people got sucked out in the rip current, so that was one of our big calls this summer.
We have 21 Sam respond to the Tower 19, so can you have medics dispatched to Santa Clara and Ocean Front Walk?
Sounds like the guard is by himself right now, taking care of the patients, so we're trying to get 2 or 3 units down here to back them up and help them. Usually nice to have 4 or 5 guards to package a patient when they've injured their neck.
The gentleman came out of the surf. He'd gotten hit pretty good in the head with his surfboard, really rung his bell, enough to split his lip. It appears that it rocked his head back suddenly because he had pain right in the bottom of his neck.
All right, just slip this up underneath. It's really not very comfortable, but I want to make sure his head doesn't move around. There you go. I feel like I'm going to pass out. All right, we'll hold
if you need to, we got you. Bring that board quick.
He's going to pass. Thinks he's...
Okay, we're going to lay you back on this board.
The surfer battles to stay conscious, while lifeguards try to get him onto a backboard before he collapses.
Lay back, just lay back, relax, relax, relax.
And we're going to get some oxygen on as well, and that's going to help you.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just grab my fingers and then squeeze on them? Both hands at the same time. There you go, nice. Thank you.
Fearing possible injury to the man's spine, lifeguards have to work as a team to keep his back straight while they gather his vitals and prepare to move him off the beach.
Do you think your pain is more on the bottom of your neck or the top of your neck?
It's kind of at the very base of my neck.
Very bottom? All right. Yeah, see some blood in your mouth. Do you feel any damage in your mouth?
No,
your lips cut pretty good?
Yeah.
Dispatch from 21 Sam, medics are on scene, Santa Clara.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
With a full team assembled, lifeguards must work in perfect unison to avoid further damaging the victim's spine. Any misstep during this phase could be tragic.
He's going to go to the hospital. They'll keep him immobilized so there's no movement in his neck and no movement in his back. They'll take some x-rays, and he walked onto the beach. We want him to be able to walk again when he goes home tonight.
The Pacific High has brought perfect weather to Mission Beach. Sunny skies, an air temperature of 81 degrees, and a water temperature of 70 has thousands of swimmers in the water. Lifeguard Todd Rice has paddled out into the surf to watch over the crowd. But Todd is not the only one with an eye on the swimmers.
I was out on a rescue board going towards the outside of the surf line, and when I noticed a large triangularly shaped fin, which appeared to me to be a shark.
In San Diego, there's probably about 20 kinds of sharks that are frequently seen by fishermen, swimmers, beachgoers, kayakers.
Most of the species sighted in these waters are small and have never attacked humans. But just seeing a fin, any fin in the water, is sure to send a chill up the average person's spine.
The most common species of shark in San Diego is probably the leopard shark, which can form aggregations or groups of several hundred or thousand individuals along the beach at any time. But they are completely harmless to people.
But occasionally, larger, more dangerous sharks make their way closer to shore.
When I saw the shark, I was 30 yards from the dorsal fin, which appeared to me to be a white shark. They usually don't come in shore unless they're hungry.
Carcharodon carcharias. Its name means white death. It's the largest predatory fish in the sea, growing to 20 feet and weighing over 7,000 pounds. And its appetite is legendary. In California alone, there have been over 100 documented shark attacks on humans. In 2007, Todd Endress was swimming with a pod of dolphins outside Monterey Bay when a great white attacked from below. In 2011, surfer Eric Tarantino couldn't escape a white shark hunting near Marina State Beach. And just 18 miles north of Mission Beach, retired veterinarian Dave Martin was attacked while training for a triathlon.
This morning there was one fellow I heard screaming, and we turned back and swam to him, and he'd already been hit by a pretty good-sized shark. It was awful.
Two swimmers bravely swam out to help Martin, but the severity of the wounds left little chance for survival.
We pulled him in as quickly as we could, and the lifeguard met us, and administered CPR, gave him oxygen, did everything they could, but by the time we got through the surf, there was so much blood loss, we couldn't save him.
Hoping to prevent another attack from ever happening in San Diego, lifeguards race to clear the surf. Heading up this challenge is Incident Commander Nick Lerma.
I grew up in San Diego. Both my parents were certified divers, so when I turned 12, I was certified to scuba dive just so we could go out on our family outings. Just before that, I was a junior lifeguard. In fact, several of the people I work with, we started our sort of lifeguarding career as junior lifeguards with the state of California here at Silver Strand State Beach in the early 70s. They taught us how to surf, how to skin dive, how to sail, and that's really where I was sparked and my imagination was captured. And from there, I sort of decided I wanted to be a lifeguard. As an ocean lifeguard, you gotta be prepared. You're gonna have scenarios that are gonna scare you, and you're tasked with swimming out, grabbing these people that are most certainly gonna drown. They're gonna die. You get to bring them back into the beach, reunite them with a family, and change their life. It's easy to feel good about what you do.
With a confirmed shark sighting on Mission Beach, Lieutenant Lerma must quickly decide on a course of action.
My specific role as a lifeguard lieutenant is to determine what the exact threat is and then take appropriate action to safeguard the public.
2-Sam to dispatch requesting a rescue copter to the area of Tower 15, and we'll be deploying a personal watercraft.
The water is closed right now. The water is closed. There was a shark sighting this morning.
We believe that it is most probably a great white shark, and we do know that they have been responsible for attacks in the past. It's considered to be a large shark, but you know, there's a whole bunch of other things here. Is we want to make sure that we have the right decision and for the right amount of time.
But Lerma knows the city's most popular beach can only stay closed for so long. And for now, he doesn't know why the shark is here or how long it plans to stay.
Southern California has warmer waters than most other parts of California, and there's a lot of food here. Once the white sharks reach maturity at about 10 to 12 feet, they tend to move into cooler waters in Central California, where the seal and sea lion populations are greater, and that's what they tend to be feeding on at that time.
If this is an adult white shark and it's adapted to hunting seals, a surfer or diver could easily be next.
See that? I kid you not, man. That's exactly what it was like. Okay. Exactly. Big triangle.
One concerned surfer comes to Lifeguard headquarters to report his sighting to Lerma.
The thing was just steady state, you know?
I was out surfing, just came out here and then kind of drifted south. You know, I looked out and there was this big triangular gray fin about 25 yards offshore. I mean, I looked at it for about 5 seconds and then just turned around and went in. I didn't want to stick around.
Moments after his meeting with the surfer, Lieutenant Lerma receives these terrifying photos of a large fin just 25 yards from shore. When considering a beach closure, the San Diego Lifeguards have a standard operating procedure. It takes into account several factors: the type of shark, proximity to the beach, and the level of threat. Deeming the witnesses credible, Lieutenant Lerma reaches out to famed shark expert Peter Klimley at UC Davis.
Generally, the big ones are averagely around seal colonies in colder waters.
Right. I was sent a photograph. The fact that it's black dorsal fin and it's a foot and a half high, it certainly is indicative that it's a white shark.
If you've seen what you think is a white shark, they move roughly 2 miles per hour. And, you know, tomorrow they may not be at Mission Beach, they may be off La Jolla. So I think you should close the beach for a day.
Okay.
With Dr. Klimley confirming Lerma's decision, lifeguards quickly begin fashioning warning flags to mark the danger zone. For the next 24 hours, they close the beach 1 mile north of Tower 15, all the way south to the jetty. While Lerma attempts to avoid a feeding frenzy in the water, a media frenzy unfolds on land.
At which time he's sighted a large dorsal fin. What action we've taken so far is to close the beach of anybody in the water. We have several rescue boats offshore that are also trying to see if the shark is somewhere we can see it.
Hundreds of disappointed tourists are directed away from Mission Beach. It's a tough day for San Diego, but lifeguards refuse to risk having anyone in the water.
Obviously, this is an economic impact. We have a lot of people that come here, and they don't come here just to be in the sand.
But everything to the south is all closed.
And why is it closed?
Due to that shark sighting this morning.
Oh.
So nothing today then, no swimming?
No swimming, no water activity. It's going to be closed the next 24 hours.
As the day passes, Mission Beach clears out, but lifeguards stay posted until dark to ensure the closure stays in full effect.
The lifeguards deemed that a sighting of a shark was credible and that the size of the shark could potentially do damage to a person if it were to attack, and so they decided to close the beach, and that was an appropriate action.
24 hours later, San Diego's temperatures flirt with record highs, and Mission Beach opens back up to a massive crowd. But the lifeguards continue to keep an eye out for a shadow in the sea. Long Beach, California is home to one of the busiest harbors in the world. Here, the average temperature during the summer is 81 degrees. And for the countless sailors, the wind speed averages almost 7 miles per hour. For Long Beach Fire Department lifeguard Robert Hamilton,
You guys all right?
this means all kinds of boats
Hey, Nacho, how's it going?
and all kinds of problems.
Guys, hold up. Hold up, guys. Are we getting a ticket? Do you want one? We have life jackets for all the kids. Anybody under 13 has to wear one at all times. Meet me at that dock right over there. Something wrong here. Okay, we are making a enforcement stop on this boat. We pulled them over because they should have a life jacket on board for every adult. One small accident, they all go in the water, the kids drown, the adults, who knows? We're off the oceanfront on F-16. We're gonna be on a vessel stop at Davies as well. Our job is to educate the public Not necessarily give them a ticket. Not everybody needs a citation. But sometimes they do need a citation in order for them to really take it to heart and understand. If you just let everybody go, then they just go and keep doing the same thing over and over and over. So we're going to talk to them and see what else they do or don't have.
All right, we
Couple things.
need life jackets for everyone.
Okay, sir, let me talk, please. First of all, this life jacket here is not a child's life jacket. If she falls in, that thing's going to come right over her, and she's going to go straight down, and that's going to come straight up. That's unacceptable. Okay, can you take this boat directly back to the dock?
Yes, I can.
Okay? And we're going to follow you over there.
Just follow me and give me all the tickets you want. Follow us.
We will.
Ticket meter down.
Okay.
I'm sure you will.
We will meet you over there. Thank you. Seemed a little upset, a little agitated. I don't know what's going on. We get back to the dock, we'll step it up a little bit with them enforcement-wise.
Robert follows the boater back to the marina
Let's watch a boat.
and prepares to check into the driver's suspicious behavior.
Obviously, you're agitated.
Yeah, I'm
So,
very upset.
Hey, when
Because you pulled us over because
Okay.
I didn't have life jackets for the adults.
or the kids. The kids
No,
are
the
not
kids all had
wearing.
life jackets on.
No, okay, they didn't.
They did.
All right.
They all had
Sir.
life jackets on.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You know, I'm sorry if I've been belligerent. I don't mean to be.
Okay, got it. How much alcohol have you had today?
None.
Zero?
Zero.
I'm going to give you some tests right now. Do me a favor, stand up, please.
I need an incident number for loading under influence.
Anything that would affect this type of test whatsoever?
Nothing.
Hands together, feet together. I want you
We
to...
didn't have life jackets.
Certain part of this test is paying attention. Most of this test is following orders.
You know, these are my neighbors.
I got that.
Right?
I got that.
You're embarrassing the out of me.
Not real cooperative with us, so we're discussing what to do with him. I'm running him through a battery of tests right now for boating under the influence. If he passes, give him a citation, send him home. If he doesn't pass, he may end up going to jail tonight.
Lifeguard Hamilton asks the boater to balance on one foot with his eyes closed.
Foot off the ground, please.
You know, that's not easy.
All right, let's just go ahead and stop.
After failing the first test, Robert asks the man to walk 9 steps in a straight line.
6, 7, 8.
The boater maintains he hasn't been drinking, but refuses to take a breathalyzer test.
You don't have to take a breath test. That's within your rights. I'm happy for you not to. But I will tell you, and I'm going to tell you, that the fines will be up to double.
Fine, I'm not taking the test.
When the police arrive, Robert quickly brings them up to speed.
Pull them over. Obviously agitated, obviously wanting to yell at us. Run all the sobriety tests, FSTs at him. He's unable to perform 3 of the complete tests. Okay. So obviously alcohol, he refuses to pass test. So we're gonna hook and book.
Okay.
Are you arresting me? Oh my God.
It's never fun when you have to arrest somebody. But when they're putting small children in the line of fire, so you have to do your job. Well, we're gonna clear from this. PD's got one in custody.
Huntington Beach is famously known as Surf City, USA.
They got a nice pier there. Because of the shape of the bottom, it will focus those waves, especially the big waves, and they can make them a lot bigger.
But here, lifeguards aren't just focused on the high seas. Today, Surf City transforms from Baywatch to Birdwatch. Huntington Beach has an average annual temperature of 68 degrees. That warmth, combined with an ample fish supply, make for a huge bird population. As the lifeguards here will tell you, more birds mean more problems.
Might be able to just herd them into this.
I don't think so.
These are cormorants. They're ocean birds. They can dive underwater and stay underwater for like 30 seconds. It's normal for them to be in the surf line and stuff like that, but they don't usually let people get this close to them ever. This guy, you can tell when he walks there's something wrong with them. With birds or any animal that we find on the beach, we just try to contain them without hurting them.
One for you. You get one, I'll get one. No, you're not gonna like this, but well,
gotta stop now. You know, a bird like this could probably be okay on their own, but not with packs of seagulls. If they get a hold of these birds, they'll tear them up. We try and get them to the help they need, and they'll come to eat fish another day.
2 miles to the north, Todd Bartlett is on a bird call of his own.
How you guys doing? Did you get it?
There's so many of the poor thing.
What is it?
Fishing line and fishing hooks.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
He's even got one here in his mouth.
Oh my gosh. Let me snip this one.
I've done enough time.
Look at that one's all the way. Probably need the pliers for that.
Yeah, here, I got some pliers right here.
Got it. Yay.
Okay. It's okay, little guy, it's okay. It's
Got
okay.
him?
Yeah, I got him. I get the back side of it to push it through. Yeah, it's gonna be the bad one, but there it goes.
Got it. Yay.
Okay, we're good, yeah.
Are we
Let's go.
good?
Yeah, let him go.
Thanks to Todd and the concerned citizens, the bird is back on its feet, but not out of the woods.
He's a water bird. He only can survive in the water. He cannot survive on land. So for me to leave him here and have the seagulls attack him later, it's probably best if I take him to our wildlife center and they could just diagnose him to make sure he's okay. Ready? Let's go. Hey, so how you doing?
It's a Brent's cormorant.
Super feisty. We pulled about 8 fish hooks out of him.
The expert staff takes time to evaluate the bird and examine it for any previous injuries.
Hooks were taken out?
He had 2 in his mouth.
Other than a slight temperature, the bird checks out well and will be returned to the wild as soon as it regains its strength.
Well, thank you guys. All right. Appreciate it. It's nice to be able to help out nature. If you can help out the birds, it's always, it's a good feeling.
On this episode of Lifeguard, hazardous conditions in Huntington have lifeguards leaping into action.
Tower guard from the beach is not going to have enough time to get to that person. We have to get to them before they would get to the pier and maybe panic or serious injury. We have to get to them before that. So it's just the quickest way to get there if you have to.
Then, in Long Beach, the lifeguards come across a boat taking on a lot of water.
Hey, water! Hopefully we can get ahead of it before it goes down.
We're trying to locate the source right now. We think it's coming in where the shaft enters the hull.
We couldn't keep up. It was still going down.
And in San Diego, the guards pull a hypothermic long-distance swimmer to safety.
Heater in here, and you're running oxygen from the back seat.
The victim just seemed like her mental functions were diminished. What was interesting, though, is once we put her on oxygen and turned the heater up nice and hot in the truck, quickly those mental capacities started coming back. One of the first things I got out of her was she was also with her daughter.
Jet 3, the 6-year-old daughter of the victim out there.
The lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline. And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, a lot of us are amateur meteorologists.
Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer.
I like those exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen.
Dispatch, a person injured on a vessel.
They are there to save you. They are there to lifeguard. In La Jolla, California, the San Diego lifeguards are preparing for a busy weekend day. With beach temperatures expected to reach into the high 70s, a large beach crowd is a given. But the wind on the coast is affecting the water temperature.
When you have wind blowing parallel to the coast, it's pushing the surface water back and bringing cold water up to the surface very quickly.
With today's unseasonably cool water temperatures, the day has only just begun when the first call comes in.
Dispatch 31, Sam, in La Jolla Shores. I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer south of Scripps Pier.
La Jolla Shores is under the command of Sergeant Eric Kerr.
We get a 911 call. That's all I have to hear. I get in my truck. The next thing I want to know is, who's reporting this?
31, Sam, copy. Do you have any RP information? 3 groups of novice swimmers being escorted by some rental kayaks. Copy. We're watching Jet 3.
Sergeant Kerr immediately dispatches a Lifeguard personal watercraft to respond. The distress call has come in from an area just off the Scripps Pier, a popular landmark for long-distance swimmers. Given today's cool water conditions, a quick response time is essential.
If you're in 60-degree water, your body wants to be 98.6. I don't care what wetsuit you're wearing, there's a timeline where eventually you're going to be too darn cold.
21 Sam to Rescue West. We want you to start heading towards La Jolla, and you've got a situation with distressed swimmers. Copy, Rescue West, leaving the Mission Beach area, responding to La Jolla.
He's on a kayak about 100 yards outside the surf line south of Scripps Pier.
Hey, firm, we got it. I can see the guy in the cell phone.
Lifeguard Terry Hedgecock was driving Jet 3 and was first on scene with the swimmer.
When we got to where she was getting hypothermic, I asked her age. She didn't know her age. She knew she was in the ocean. She didn't know where she was in the ocean. So that to us is a big red flag. So we want to make sure we get her to the beach.
Dispatch requesting medics to Shores Tower. We've got one patient complaining of nausea and hypothermia.
With the woman in bad shape, Jet 3 races her back to shore and Sergeant Kerr.
So you're gonna scoop and haul victim here, you on the bumper.
Given the woman's severe condition, getting her out of the water is the highest priority.
Okay, scoop and haul into my car. I got the heater on.
Unable to even stand on her own, the lifeguards rush the woman out of the frigid water.
Oxygen for the back seat.
The victim just seemed like her mental functions were diminished. We call it A&O ×4 in the field, but that means is the victim alert and oriented to person, place, time, and event. Do you know what happened? Do you know your name? She wasn't answering all those questions lucidly. Treatment in this particular case, there's certainly different ways you can do it. The best field technique that we used was just, even as we were en route, closed all the windows, put the heater on full blast. It's probably at least 100 degrees in that car. So anything above 98.6 is certainly gonna help raise the core temperature.
31 Sam to dispatch. Patient is A&O ×2 going on 3 with heat and oxygen, and we'll be back at the Shores Tower.
Copy. They're coming to the Shores Tower.
What was interesting though is once we put on oxygen and turned the heater up nice and hot in the truck, quickly those mental capacities started coming back and she was able to answer those questions. One of the first things I got out of her was she was also with her daughter.
Jet 3, the 6-year-old daughter of the victim is out there.
Once we got the information about there's now a daughter out there, certainly that was a concern. It's like, hey, we've got this mother that's now receiving treatment, going in the ambulance, who was with her daughter. And, we don't know if the daughter's unattended, if her mother was the only chaperone. Obviously, mother's hypothermic. This daughter's on a 2-mile swim. You're gonna have to assume probably a good athlete also, very well. Could be very lean, and could be also susceptible to hypothermia.
Jet 3 races back out to the frigid waters along the 2-mile course to find the 6-year-old girl, who's now swimming without her mother. 10 miles north of La Jolla lies the city of Del Mar, a classic Southern California beach community. The 2-square-mile town was put on the map in 1937 with the opening of the Del Mar racetrack. Del Mar became a popular destination for Hollywood royalty. Even the town's unofficial catchphrase, "where the surf meets the turf," was coined by Bing Crosby. Del Mar has striking bluffs to the south and a river mouth to the north that splits the beach. These features and ever-changing weather conditions keep the lifeguards on their toes.
Every day is something different, and there's no question about it. It's all weather conducive. Poor weather brings less action, less people. Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action, and it gets the day to go much quicker.
In anticipation of the busy day ahead, lifeguard Mark Rathsome gathers the crew for a meeting at the main tower.
Today we've got the bocce ball tournament. It's going to be pretty busy up there. I think there's 3,000 people, alcohol, stingrays we had last year, and medical aids. The sun's going to break today, probably about noon. We do have a high tide later this morning, so you guys want to watch for those flash rips. Okay, you guys, make sure to grab the radios and let's get them open.
With today's marching orders in place, the lifeguards head out to fulfill their duties. Del Mar lifeguards use a full complement of equipment to patrol their beach, from inflatable boats on the water to ATVs on the sand. These guards are equipped for anything.
Boat 1, station 3. If you're anyone back to 5.
And all these components will be directed by the lifeguards in the main tower at 17th Street. Lifeguard Claire O'Leary's assignment for the day? North Beach and the bocce ball tournament.
This is my 6th summer lifeguarding in Del Mar. I started as a junior lifeguard when I was 10 and just kind of fell in love with the ocean. Bocce ball kind of throws in some new elements. It should be an interesting mix of a lot of people drinking and a big rip current. Don't know what kind of contacts we'll be making, but I like those kind of exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen. It's one of the best parts of the job, actually. The sun comes out and all these people that are drinking go into that rip current right there. That's where our action's going to happen. People just get swept off their feet. It's strong current. It's going to be a fun day.
As lifeguard O'Leary begins her watch over North Beach, it's not the enormous crowd at the bocce ball tournament that has her worried. It's the dangerous rip currents in front of her. Claire spots a small child being pulled out by the treacherous currents.
Little arms start going, you just know it's time to head out. We got out there and he said, "Call for help." He's really small, probably 6 or 7. Just gets really good currents going, and when you're smaller, you can't really swim through it and can't get to a place you can touch, so. Parents were in here, they kind of ran up and grabbed their parents, but that's typically how it goes. We're out there before they even know the kids are getting in trouble, so. Yeah, a little scared, but those are the kind of easy ones because I get in and then I'm up to here and they're all right, so that's why we go out.
Claire's careful watch kept the young boy safe from the rip current. But farther south in Del Mar, guards at the 17th Street Lifeguard Station have spotted their own dangerous situation forming. Flash rips.
When we're looking out at the water, what we're looking for is a certain water condition, you know, like a rip current. 80% of our rescues are in rip currents. They're pretty easy for us to identify. They almost look like a small river going out to sea. The water's moving out. We're also looking for people in the rips. They're looking in and they're just, instead of duck diving under the waves, they're taking waves over the back of their head. That's an indicator to us that they want to be on the beach.
With the rip currents pulling the swimmers out to sea, the lifeguards launch into action.
When the flash rip lights up, it just takes them straight out, just like any other rip current. The one thing with our flash rips is that it only takes them about shoulder deep, but that's enough for a small kid not to be able to keep their feet on the ground.
Equipped with their rescue boards, the lifeguards rush to bring swimmers back to safety.
A lot of the time they don't know what they are, but they feel that they're getting pulled out. And then a lot of times they just need help in.
We just went too far out, and I guess we were in a rip current, so they came and got us.
Lifeguard Mallory Murphy IDs another rip current victim.
They were coming in, they had swum out past the waves, and there was a strong rip tide coming. We thought that they wouldn't be able to make it quite in.
I can't swim back to, like,
I knew the guy probably wouldn't get on the board, but The girl wasn't that strong of a swimmer, so she hopped on.
Oh my God, big wave! Oh my God, I'm scared of big wave!
You have to kind of boost them on, and then you got to get behind and paddle the board, because you got to make sure that there's an even weight on the board so you don't nosedive. Yay! Rescue!
For now, the flash rips have stopped, and the guards have kept Del Mar safe. But they will continue their careful watch, because they know things out here can change quickly. 10 miles down the coast in La Jolla, California, lifeguards have rescued a hypothermic long-distance swimmer. But they discover that she's left something behind in the cold water. Her 6-year-old daughter.
We're gonna try to get her on our jet ski and bring her into you. How big your group is? Okay, big group though, right?
While the girl's mother is still in hypothermic shock, Jet 3 scours through the large group of swimmers looking for her child.
She's now probably a 3, still a little fuzzy. All right, what city are we in right now? All right, what year is it?
11. Just as the paramedics are set to transport the mother to the hospital, lifeguards return her daughter to shore.
But I know her daughter's okay. She's coming up right now.
A family reunited.
So they're just making sure your mom's okay right now. It should be good in a few minutes, okay? Are you gonna swim back now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where to? The cove? The cove? You walk for me? Nice and easy, okay?
And the daughter's going with you. As a sergeant, you've got a lot of things going on, but just to actually, okay, good. The jet ski found the girl. She's on the beach. It's the right daughter. They didn't grab somebody else's kid. They grabbed the right daughter, and then she's safely on the beach. It worked out very well.
31 Sam dispatch, medic rescue 9, script La Jolla, lifeguards, fire clear.
Winds off the California coastline help produce some of the best surf in the world. And nowhere is that more apparent than Huntington Beach. Surfers come from all over the world to catch one of Huntington's famous waves. But these crowded waters can become a breeding ground for disastrous collisions. Surfers not only need to look out for oncoming swimmers, but also a much more dangerous obstacle, the Huntington Beach Pier. The best waves in Huntington break on and next to the pier. And at 1,800 feet in length, there's plenty of pier for those waves to break on. For high-speed surfers, these concrete pilings pose a serious threat. Huntington Beach has stationed some of their most experienced guards at a tower on the pier known as Tower Zero. From here, lifeguards can easily spot swimmers and surfers caught near the pier and react the quickest way possible, 40 feet straight down. Rescues from here require the utmost concentration, as conditions around the pier are always changing. In this amateur video, a lifeguard decides the best route to safety is actually on the other side of the pier. So he carefully guides the boogie boarder through the pilings. And in this cell phone video, a lifeguard is pulling 3 stranded young girls away from the pier and back to the safety of the shore.
Triple save.
With a combination of precision and teamwork, victims of rip currents and surf injuries are routinely saved from a disastrous collision with Huntington's Pier. Today, several Huntington Beach lifeguards are taking part in a pier jump training exercise, led by Marine Safety Officer Matt Carl.
If the person's out far enough where the tower guard from the beach is not going to have enough time to respond and get to that person, we have to get to them before they would get to the pier and maybe panic. It's just the quickest way to get there if you have to.
Jumping from this pier is no easy task. It's an extremely dangerous maneuver, but the lifeguards here have developed a landing technique to protect themselves from injuries and a hand signal to show that they have landed safely.
Out here where we're practicing, it's plenty deep enough, but where we actually make most of our rescues is going to be in closer where the surf is breaking. There's sandbars, the sand shifts, the tides. You never really know how deep the bottom is, so you have to assume the worst, that it's really shallow. So the technique for overcoming the possibility of hitting the bottom is to jump out far to get some horizontal, direction going, not just straight down, and then landing kind of at a 45-degree angle with your feet hitting, and then try to continue out so that you don't go so deep.
Although it looks like a fun ride down, for today's training purposes, lifeguards have to climb 30 feet up a rope ladder to get back to the top of the pier.
Prepare yourself, old man.
Now finally you can smile as long as nobody put Vaseline on the rail.
And when there's a rescue too far from shore, lifeguards have devised a way to respond quickly.
If we have a rescue that's in here, somebody needs to be rescued, the boat can actually spin around where there's a swell. As the swell goes by, the boat goes up, and as the bow drops onto the backside of the wave, the stern shoots up, and the deckhand can actually be on the stern as it shoots up, launch him outwards, and hopefully the guard is able to jump off the back, land in the wave, and continue to body surf right up to the victim.
Every guard at Tower Zero must have this pier jump training, because without it, a victim against the pier would never be reached in time for a rescue. Sheltered by the Palos Verdes Peninsula and man-made breakwaters, Long Beach is home to some of the best boating weather on the planet. Every day, vessels of all shapes and sizes come to Long Beach. From tankers to trawlers, the one thing these boats have in common, a leak can mean disaster. And a leak is what Long Beach lifeguard Robert Hamilton is up against this afternoon.
Okay, what we have is a 42-foot trawler taking on water. Hopefully we can get ahead of it before it goes down.
When Robert arrives, Rescue Boat 2 is already on scene, pumping water out of the sinking ship. A vessel of this size could contain over 400 gallons of fuel. If it sinks, gasoline and oil will spill out, ravaging the marina, causing an ecological nightmare.
She was about probably 1.5 feet down in the bow. If they go down in the transom, the water starts coming in on its own. Besides the leak, then they go pretty fast.
Hey, do you have any idea what's leaking in here?
No idea.
A hose, anything?
Somebody on the other end of this?
Yeah?
Hey.
Assisting Robert on this call is his deckhand, one of Long Beach Fire Department's most veteran lifeguards, John Burt.
Been a lifeguard here in Long Beach since 1972. This is my 40th summer down here on the beach. When I'm not doing this job here in Long Beach, I work at Long Beach Poly High School as a history teacher. I teach history and then chair the history department there. In 40 years of lifeguarding, I have seen quite a lot of action, anything from still water rescues to boats and airplane crashes. One that stands out in my mind, I think, happened in the second year I was lifeguarding. I saw a young man about 16 fall off a paddleboard, watched him fall, took off after him. He went to the bottom, and after a couple of surface dives, I was able to recover him and bring him up. And I still, to this day, remember his name.
Yeah, a little more.
This is the greatest job anybody could ever have. And I couldn't be prouder than to serve the City of Long Beach Fire Department, and 40 years of lifeguarding has been a dream come true.
Hey, water!
With multiple pumps working overtime, John and the other lifeguards race to get another one running.
I had 2 small pumps that I brought over. We couldn't keep up. It was still going down. The engine was over half submerged.
Tell me when you got it. Right there. A lot of water in the bilge up around his engine. Trying to locate the source right now. We think it's coming in where the shaft enters the hull. We got to get the water out so we can figure out where it's coming in.
The extra pump is paying off. For the first time, water is going out faster than it's coming in.
Blue line's staying steady right now. I'll let you know when we get ahead of it. Stop.
We pumped out as much as we can from the bilge. We're still trying to find the source. We think
We're done. You can shut down. Boat 2 is going to stay on scene, hopefully patch it up. If not, either way, this guy's got to have it fixed. He's got to be seaworthy just to be in the marina. So he's going to have to make repairs or get a haul out.
For lifeguards Robert Hamilton and John Burt, this call is over. But they head back out on patrol where they will continue to keep Long Beach afloat. On this episode of Lifeguard. In San Diego, the guards hurry to find a missing swimmer in the frigid waters.
She had dropped her father off at La Jolla Cove. Normally the swim will take around 35, 40 minutes. It had been over an hour. She'd gotten nervous and decided to come up and report it to the lifeguards.
She's alert and oriented times 2, and is showing signs of hypothermia and exhaustion.
Then, Lax Beach offers up some unique challenges for the lifeguards.
We do the exact same things here that everybody else does on any other beach, except we have skimpier swimsuits.
The lifeguard will come on scene and ask if they wouldn't mind putting their shorts on.
While in Huntington Beach, units respond as a biker falls head over handlebars.
First things you think about right away is head injury, possible cervical.
And in Long Beach, it's high speed and high danger for the lifeguards.
If you're going into a turn at 100+ miles an hour, you better be sure you can make the turn and have the guy next to you make the turn as well.
Something happened on the race.
Just had another accident.
We do got 2 guys in the water. They rescued them on their quick boats. They just went by us at high speed.
The lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline. And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, a lot of us are amateur meteorologists.
Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer.
I like those exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen.
Dispatch, a person injured on a vessel.
They are there to save you. They are there to lifeguard. Welcome to La Jolla, California, known as the Jewel City. This beautiful seaside community enjoys over 300 days of sunshine each year. The calm water here makes this area ideal for snorkeling, scuba diving, and open water swimming. But the weather has brought a change in water temperature that is concerning the lifeguards.
Well, it's summertime right now, and typically our water ranges from the high 60s to the low 70s, really warm water. The last couple of days, we've had some upwelling of some cold water that has created unseasonably cold conditions in the water, so we're in the low 60s.
It's only 9:15, and the day's first emergency begins to unfold.
Did yesterday, and where does he normally land? Right here, we'll go over here by the bathroom. I had a young lady come up to me, let me know that she had dropped her father off at La Jolla Cove at 8 o'clock. Normally the swim will take around 35, 40 minutes to get from the cove to La Jolla shores. It had been over an hour. She'd been waiting on the beach for him, got nervous, and decided to come up and report it to the lifeguards.
If the missing father has been swimming in the 61-degree water this whole time, severe hypothermia could come into play.
Would he have turned around and gone back to the cove, you think?
I don't know.
The water has been chilly the last couple of days.
For lifeguard PJ Liebig, this line of work has always been in his blood.
My dad was a firefighter and a paramedic for 30 years, so I always wanted to do something in public safety. And as I got a little bit older, realized lifeguarding was a great avenue to do that.
As a veteran lifeguard, PJ has seen many things, but none stick with him like his first rescue.
2 girls were just walking in the shallows, about knee deep. The rip current that day was just cranking, as strong as I'd ever seen it. They got swept off their feet, and they were just getting pulled out that rip unbelievably fast. And then they went under. I knew they weren't coming back up. I grabbed the rescue board, I threw it in the water. I paddled as fast as I could. I looked down, and the water was clear that day. And I could see down there, and they were just both about 5 feet under the water, holding on to each other. So I was able to dive under the water, grab them both by underneath the arms, and pick them back up. And to my elation, they both took big breaths as soon as they got up in the air. It was the biggest difference between life and death I'd ever seen. No, believe me, that shouldn't take that long.
Short dispatch.
Dispatch.
We're fielding a report of an overdue swimmer, a 69-year-old male, who left the cove at 8 o'clock. He's 30 minutes overdue.
Lifeguards from all surrounding beaches scan the surface of the water for the swimmer. In today's cold conditions, he could be hypothermic and running out of time. Nearly 100 miles north of La Jolla is Long Beach, California. Sheltered by the wind and the sea, Long Beach is one of the biggest boating hotspots on the West Coast. And at the heart of Long Beach sits its pride and joy, Marine Stadium. This aquatic facility is one of a kind in California. Originally built to host Olympic rowing in 1934, this mile-long stretch of water has been home to maritime racing for over 75 years. And the competition keeps getting faster. Once a year, powerboats arrive in Long Beach to compete in one of the largest races of its kind. Robert Hamilton and other Long Beach lifeguards will be on patrol all day, working alongside paramedics as part of a larger rescue team.
Coming up to Marine Stadium, which is generally the water ski area of Long Beach. But today it's closed for the Sprint National races. As you can see, this is a confined space. Rocks all the way surrounding it, so you have the possibility of getting some serious accidents and crashes here. Speed and confined space don't go together. Hopefully there won't be any major accidents and everybody can go home and be safe.
Another worry for the lifeguards is the weather. If the winds kick up during the race, the results could be catastrophic. On the straightaway, these boats reach speeds of over 100 miles per hour. And when they crash at this velocity, the water is no soft landing. It's a sport that claims lives every year. Today, the difference between life and death could hinge on the response time of these lifeguards.
We've had a fatality at this race in the past, so anything is possible today.
Lifeguards will lie in wait on the outskirts of Marine Stadium, keeping a close eye on the races and deterring traffic from entering. The morning event passes without injury. But the winds begin to pick up just as the fastest boats are launched. The Cracker Boxes.
The Cracker Boxes date back to actually Long Beach Marine Stadium in 1938. They are basically a blown and injected big block, anything goes motor with over 1,000 to 1,500 plus horsepower, straightaway speeds upwards of 130 miles an hour.
And that design has never changed. The boats have modernized. They're fiberglass now versus made of wood. The engine is always set in front of the two drivers, and the second person was always an observer or like a mechanic.
These are one of the classes that we really watch out for because these guys do have a tendency to flip.
There's the start of the race. Miss Madison going on in first place. Thunderbolt with Bud Staley in the third place boat.
They all got to make that turn at the same time. That's when it gets fun.
If you're going into a turn at 100 plus miles an hour, you better be sure you can make the turn and have the guy next to you make the turn as well.
The wind plays quite a factor in these boat races. We have what we call a blowover, where the vessel gets air underneath it and will flip.
But the impact in the water is huge if you come out of a boat. It's like if you were going down the freeway at 70 miles an hour in your car and opened the door and jumped out.
We've got something on the course. They just shut off the flares. It's a warning flares, meaning something happened on the race.
Just had another accident.
We do got two guys in the water. We're gonna hang back.
As lifeguard Hamilton maneuvers out of the way of the high-speed rescue boat, the lifeguards find themselves in a race of their own.
They rescued them on their quick boats. And they just went by us at high speed. They take them over to what we call Marina Park area, pretty much what we call scoop and run. We have the rescue teams from the race, we have lifeguards from the beach here, and we also have Rescue Boat 3.
The wind got under one of the Cracker Box boats, causing a high-speed flip. The passenger's face has been bloodied by the impact, but it's his leg that has everyone concerned.
going away. It got real bad when it first happened. Okay.
As for the condition of the driver,
Howdy, guys.
he's just grateful to be alive.
How do you guys like that? Yeah, I'm good. I thought maybe I hit it. I think it's okay. I was trying to get ahead in the first turn. I was on the outside lane. That was a good lane yesterday, and just caught an edge going around the corner, and it just decided to go over on me. It's not something you plan on.
That's crying.
You remember
like my leg.
Remember the crash and all that?
Yeah. I did this as a favor this weekend. Usually I'm in the other seat.
I'm feeling fine. I feel very good. It was a good day to take a swim. This is fantastic service. It always has been with the safety people here, and I've been in the water here before. I can always rely on them. Boy, I barely flopped up on the surface, and these guys were in the water with me, so it's really a good thing, really a good thing. Sprint boat racing.
Luckily, both of these men are able to walk away under their own power. But for them, the race ends here.
And nobody died today. Everybody went home safely. And that's the key for us, is everybody to go home safely. So that was a good day.
Go back out. I'm going to see if I can get the boat running again. I got to beat those guys this afternoon.
100 miles down the Southern California coastline in La Jolla, lifeguards are on the lookout for a 59-year-old swimmer who's gone missing in the unusually cold water between La Jolla Shores and the La Jolla Cove. The man's daughter contacted lifeguard PJ Liebig when her father was over 30 minutes late returning to shore.
We immediately started doing a scan of the area. We looked up off our beach here, and we saw a large group, about 20 divers, waving for some assistance. So we responded with a jet ski and with 2 lifeguard personnel.
We got divers waving for help, and they have a person fitting that description for the missing swimmer. So start medics to the main tower. We're launching Jet 3.
When the jet ski got on scene, they found that it was the tired swimmer, and that same tired swimmer ended up being the father of the young lady that came and reported him missing.
Dispatch copies, possible diver emergency, requesting medics to the La Jolla Shores Tower.
When we were first going, there was a group of divers, and one of them was holding the individual in their arms in what we call a cross-chest carry, so they had their arm over the top of his chest. And from the first look of it, he didn't look to be very active. And so my first thoughts were we need to start patient care and transporting him back as soon as possible.
He's alert and oriented ×2, and he's showing signs of hypothermia and exhaustion.
It's definitely water temperature would be a big thing with this individual. He was suffering from hypothermia.
Immediately, we wanted to address any medical issues. So I just wanted to do a quick evaluation of how aware he is, if he has any altered level of consciousness at all. Immediately, we got a blanket for him to help warm him up. So we were able to walk him directly up to the boardwalk here, transport him quickly to paramedics.
He's been in the water for a little about an hour and a half. Started in the cove. His daughter had just come up to us, started feeling a little worried about it.
So you were just tired? You never submerged, anything like that? Huh? Never submerged, anything like that?
I pretty much stayed up all the time.
Okay.
Did you just get tired?
Cold. It was cold. Cold for you.
All right. I'm gonna put this on your right arm, okay?
Really cold, very tired, which is not a good case scenario when you're out on the water and pretty far offshore. The medics wanted to do a good evaluation on him. They thought maybe they could just warm him up and release him to the family. But when they tried to get a temperature on him, his body temperature was pretty low. They're having a hard time getting a good vital signs on him. So they decided to transport him to a local hospital.
This is Huntington Beach, one of the most beautiful beach towns in Southern California. As the air pressure increases, the temperature begins to rise, and the wind carries away the clouds, clearing the sky for a perfect beach day.
It's a beautiful day. This is a great day. It's pretty warm. It's probably at least in the low 80s on the sand. You get all that heat coming off the sand, and it starts to heat up everything else. And so that, coupled with the fact that we have just a little bit more surf today, it's going to make the day just a little bit busier.
Veteran Marine Safety Officer Tony Villalobos has been protecting Huntington's beaches since he was a teenager.
probably like most tower guards, you know, when you're, 16, 17, 18, you're looking for a job just to get you by in school. And anyone who swims or surfs or grew up down here, it's a natural pull. You want to work in the area. You know, this is sort of like the glamour job. It's a great job. It's just like any other service job. There's pros and cons. There's days that are very, very long and very boring, and there's days that you just can't believe how busy it is. 10-10-4 from Tower 5.
No, it's all good. I was by myself. I figured I'd just back you guys up.
We need to go back and grab a backboard. We have a lot of different variables to our job. You know, obviously water rescue. There's been days in my career where I've saved maybe 20 to 30 people in one day. Okay, thanks guys. Then of course you have to deal with law enforcement. You didn't hit your head or your neck or anything else? No?
Just,
Okay.
I felt
Just
flat
on your
on my
shoulder?
shoulder.
And then you throw in the whole medical aids. You have 100 different type of medical aids you can perform in one day. There's just no such thing as a regular day.
Bike accident in front of Jack on the bike path.
So we're responding to a medical aid. This is a bike accident. First things you think about right away is head injury, possible cervical. It could be something as minor as if I just stubbed my toe, or it could be something major as a person fell down, hit their head, and is unconscious.
Lifeguards in Huntington are trained EMTs and are the first responders to many medical calls on the beach.
But we're gonna get to the scene and do a quick survey and see what we have and go from there. When we got here, we found one victim laying down on the bike path. He was conscious at the time, but the bystanders had said that he had lost a little bit of consciousness at first. He wasn't wearing a helmet. There was obviously some visible signs of a head injury.
The report of a victim having been unconscious may suggest signs of a serious head injury.
We advised him at this time that we want to go ahead and try to package him, put on a seat collar, and have the medics come and take a better look at him. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move you onto our backboard. Go ahead and put your legs down for me.
Okay, you know what, guys?
Yes.
I honestly don't know if I want to be put on a backboard or...
It's very common for people to not want help. There's a little bit of embarrassment factor having ambulance, fire, paramedics come. So we have to try to let them know this is pretty major. You were unconscious for a little bit. Yeah. This is all free. Everything we do is free. Everything that, this is just to keep your neck and your back just in line, just so we can have the medics come down, take a look. They can further assess you, obviously, making sure that nothing else is wrong, obviously. Great. Go ahead and put your
Since the hidden dangers of head injuries can often go initially unnoticed, lifeguards request a higher level of care.
We went ahead and did a full C-spine, immobilized them, put them on the backboard, strapped them down. We now transfer care to medics. When the medics got here, they said, we're gonna go ahead and transport him to the hospital. Probably take him into Hoag and get a full check and x-rays and everything else there. I'm glad I was there to help him. It feels good.
Isolated north of San Diego, along the bluffs of Torrey Pines, lies Black's Beach. This 2-mile stretch of coast poses a unique challenge for lifeguards.
Up here at Black's Beach, we get the most intense calls. Anything that happens here is complicated. Nothing's done easy, but it's just beautiful. We have the nature reserve. We've got peregrine falcons, bobcats, all kinds of diverse wildlife. The surf's great. The water's some of the cleanest in San Diego. It's a beautiful place to be.
With pristine water and smaller crowds, Black's Beach is a nice option for anyone looking to soak up the California sunshine. But for some beachgoers, tan lines won't be an issue.
Black's Beach is one of the largest public national beaches in the world. It is probably the most known in the world. A lot of people think because we're nude that anything goes, and it couldn't be further from the truth. You can do anything here that you would do on any other beach. That's the easiest way to explain it. The same things, we do the exact same things here that everybody else does on any other beach, except we have skimpier swimsuits.
Even though this beach has a laid-back dress code, lifeguards know it can produce some of the most serious calls. In March of 2011, one of those calls occurred.
We received a 911 call from our dispatch that there was a lady in distress on the cliffs, and she was in a precarious spot. She was probably mid-face on a 300-foot cliff on a tiny little ledge that basically was just big enough for her to stand on.
Lifeguard Lisa Darling, along with a full cliff rescue team, responded to Black's Beach.
And once we got on scene and we were starting to get our equipment to go over to access her, further information came in that she was naked.
The nude woman had failed in an attempt to hike down the cliff to Black's Beach. She was hopelessly stuck when lifeguard Darling rappelled down to her.
She was very relieved that I was there. She was scared, she was cold, and she basically was so happy to see me. She almost wanted to give me a hug, and I said, no, 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 please don't do that. Just, you're in a bad spot. Let's get you down, and then we can talk about it.
Thanks to the lifeguards at Black's Beach, the woman was safely rescued. And while a lack of clothing will never prevent them from doing their job, they admit it isn't something they prepare for.
It's weird. I mean, there's no way to say it's not. It's definitely a strange, unique part of the job working this beach. And the guards that choose to work up here, they know going in that, hey, that's part of the deal. There's a lot of great things about this beach, but there's some weirdness about it too.
We're just doing it with our clothes off, same things you do. You know, play volleyball and hang out and swap recipes.
The nudists see this as a way to express their individuality. This expression, however, poses a challenge for lifeguards. Although most people choose to go to the beach in a swimsuit rather than a birthday suit,
It'd just be too bizarre wearing clothes and getting sand in my suit.
the nudists see this as a way to express themselves.
You're constantly pulling and tugging, it shows bulges. It's just so much easier not having to worry about it. I'm a proud nudist. Not everybody is. For a while, I wasn't. I was worried what my friends would think, what my family would think, so we're not gonna judge people on what they look like. You get people down here, young, old, thin, heavy, scars, women with mastectomies, and nobody cares. They're a person. The body is just, it's just a shell.
As you can imagine, anywhere that people are out in public and they're naked and anybody can come down and see naked people, it's gonna present a problem. They don't want problems down here, so they'll actually come and report to us people that, you know, are shady characters and ask us if we could see what they're up to. They want a safe environment down here, and so do we.